this morning because our sermon will need to be briefer than usual. I do want to read to you the scriptures for the day. The scriptures listed in your bulletin are actually the scriptures for Tuesday night. So I'm reading from Deuteronomy 26, verses 1 through 3, and verses 12 through 14. When you come into the land that the Lord your God has given you as an inheritance to possess, and you possess it and settle in it, you shall take some of the first of all the fruits of the ground which you harvest from the land that the Lord your God is giving you. And you shall put it in a basket and go to the place that the Lord your God will choose as a dwelling for his name. You shall go to the priest who is in office at that time and say, "Today I declare to the Lord your God that I have come into the land that the Lord swore to our ancestors to give us. When you have finished paying tribute, give it to the aliens, the orphans and the widows, so that they may eat their fill within your town. Then say before the Lord your God, I have removed the sacred portion from the house, and I have given it to the resident aliens, the orphans and the widows, in accordance with your commandment that you commanded. I have neither transgressed nor forgotten any of your commandment." Then reading from the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 25, verses 31 through 41. When the Son of Man comes into his glory, and all the angels with him, then he will sit on the throne of his glory. All the nations will be gathered before him, and he will separate people one from another, as a shepherd separates the sheep from the goats. And he will put the sheep at his right hand and the goats at the left. Then the king will say to those at his right hand, "Come you that are blessed by my Father, inherit the kingdom prepared for you from the foundation of the world. For I was hungry, and you gave me food. I was thirsty, and you gave me something to drink. I was a stranger, and you welcomed me. I was naked, and you gave me clothing. I was sick, and you took care of me. I was in prison, and you visited me." Then the righteous will answer him, "Lord, when was it that we saw you hungry and gave you food, or thirsty and gave you something to drink? And when was it that we saw you a stranger and welcomed you, or naked and gave you clothing? And when was it that we saw you sick in prison and visited you?" And the king will answer them, "Truly, I tell you, as you did it to one of the least of these, you are members of my family, and you did it to me." Today, for Thanksgiving, I want us to think about not just things that we are thankful for, things that we receive, but things that we give. And I want to tell you about some things that you give that you may not even be aware of. In the United Methodist Church, we have a special line in the budget called mission shares. Under the old system, it was called apportionments because it was an assigned apportion amount that each church was to give. Now, there are those who are misinformed and think that this is a tax and something that's not good to pay. But I hope I can clarify for you today the reason that it's called mission shares. It's true that it's one of the largest pieces of our budget. In 2018, it was $43,044. In 2019, it's $43,912. But what that money goes for is to help us be involved in missions all around the world. we support through this fund 225 retirement homes, 70 hospitals, 8 two-year colleges, 82 four-year colleges, 13 seminaries, the Black College Fund, 1,820 missionaries, University of Africa in Zimbabwe. We keep a covenant with Nicaragua and Angola, and many, many other missions programs are supported through this fund. When we hear the Deuteronomy historian speak, he tells us that two things are to happen. The first fruits are offered, taken in a basket, and put on the altar. And then after they have been blessed, they are distributed to the needy, to the poor. 3 different times in chapter 26, the historian mentions the widows, the orphans, the poor, the needy. And so as a church, we think about all the ways that we are blessed, all the things that we received. But yet, we also need to think about all the things we give and all the ways we give. Not just through our alternative ministries, alternative Christmas giving, not just through our sock program, but many, many more ways that we give. We receive and we give, and when we give, we also receive. Amen.